What up, gluttons for punishment? Welcome to another unpopular video that I am beginning to realize is probably one of the most unpopular video series on YouTube, which is my ongoing struggle with choking phobia. I thought these videos would be a big hit. I thought people would stumble upon these and be like, wow, and I understand what choking phobia is, I understand what anxiety is, and I understand at least some tools about how to get get rid of it. Unfortunately, that hasn't clicked, so I'm going to continue making these videos because I'm a man of my word. And when I say I want to make a video every day except for Saturdays, I want to make a video every day except for Saturdays. If not for you guys, for at least for my sanity. For my mental health and well-being, knowing that A, I'm eating every day, and B, knowing that every day that I'm eating is another day that if I choose to eat, even though if I don't want to, I'm getting better. I'm getting better for my anxiety, I'm getting better for my choking phobia. I also feel better, and it's a great way to start the day. It's a great way to start the day and just boom, kill it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the last video. What I mean to also say, because I know a lot of people don't watch these videos, and by a lot of people I mean like basically nobody. These are primarily now going to be video journals or video essays focused primarily upon the choking phobia part of it, and then another part of it where I choose a random topic, which I will post in the description below. Today will be depression, and it will be psychology related. So maybe depression one day, maybe the curve that we talked about a couple days ago. I may talk more about that. I may talk about anxiety, I may talk about phobias, I may talk about medication, I may talk about therapy, I may be all these different topics are coming to my mind as I realize I want to expand not just my knowledge of these things by doing these video essays. Also, my hope is to acknowledge my hope is also to spread more information about mental health on YouTube, since I believe it's not like very popular except for people who perhaps are doctors, or I'm going to be honest, or for people who've edited their videos well. I don't know the exact, I don't know a lot about the YouTube commentators. I just know about one or two as I've shown you, and there's that popular one, Katie Morton. They're very well put together. I highly recommend them, and the ones that, they're great. It's just, I want my own viewpoint, a viewpoint that's distinctly gay and Muslim. That's one of the things I don't see in, my struggle for better health, mental health and well-being. I don't see being gay and Muslim, a lot of people would tackle it as, okay, you're gay. So they tackle that. They say, okay, you're gay, and you'd be like, well, you need to either, repress this, or you need to accept this. And then when I tell them I'm Muslim, they look at me and say, well, what does that have to do with your anxiety? And other people might say not saying anything as much as they would try to help me with a lack of understanding of the fact that I kind of have been heavily influenced by the traditional cultures and people that are in my life. I used to not be very traditional, and I kind of became traditional as my father okay, 1 second, we had a huge snowstorm, so I just didn't want to get stuck in my driveway. So there's other people that I live with, they're just not they're not as forward thinking, or you could say as modern. They're more old world, my mom would say. So I'm not, that causes for me a bit of distress, because I don't know where do I fit in that. I'm a gay Muslim bisexual who converted to Islam, right? So at the same time, I love Islam, I love Allah, I love the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that was one of the biggest things I loved that attracted me to Islam, was this idea that you could be whoever you were before. Once you become Islam, as long as you believe in Islam and the Quran and all these good things, you can do anything you want. You don't have to be this I want to say uptight. You don't want to be this how do I explain it? This long beard and wary of everything, and anything modern, it has to be looked at as suspicion, and white people are racist. These thoughts that come into the mind of people who are traditional and traditional Muslims. And it's just I never was brought up with these thoughts. These are thoughts from the old country, the old Pakistan, and it's just I heard once someone close to me had a child, and they said the doctor recommended giving the child a pain reliever for cold, or for a headache or something, and she said no, and I asked why, and she basically said, you know, in Pakistan, they give like little bits of like alcohol to the children to stop their crying. And so she thinks that's kind of like what the doctor is doing here. And do you understand, like, that's a valid concern. That's a concern you raise with the doctor. You say, doctor, I'm from Pakistan, where we, you know, you explain this to them in the situation. You may feel humiliated when you say it. Having said that, what's more important, your pride or the health of your child, right? Really. So, you know, perhaps she didn't understand how to say it. Perhaps she just didn't trust any doctor. You know what I mean? And so it's really hard for me going from this, you know, not traditional culture to this traditional culture. It's really hard. So we'll begin the phobia exposure. It's called exposure therapy. I learned it's called exposure therapy, not exposure and response prevention therapy, because it's more of a phobia rather than anxiety disorder. So what is my anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100? It's like a 0. It's an absolute 0. It doesn't mean I'm gonna stop making these videos. I'm still gonna make them, just to show how it works, what it means to be anxious, how it feels. You know, I might even take my, you know, you guys have seen my eyes enough. You guys know my facial expressions. I was thinking about taking my eyeglasses off. I prefer to keep them on. So let's go with that. It's a 0, and then you have to do the exposure.
That if Iman is half, Sabr is half Iman, and fasting is half of Sabr, then it's a quarter of your Iman if you fast. And then he also said, which is very important, that the Messenger of Allah said, كل حسنة بعشر أمثالها إلى 700 ضعف إلا الصيام. This is a hadith Qudsi. Every good action is 10 multiplied by 10 to 700, except for fasting. Except for fasting. إِلَّا الصِّيَامُ فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. Except for fasting, fasting is my own, and I reward it. Now, some of the ulama actually said that the meaning, الصِّيَامُ لِي, fasting is mine. In other words, Allah is the only thing in creation, in reality, that is absolutely independent and needs nothing. Everything else in creation needs something. And so fasting is, of all the acts of ibadah we do, it is the most godlike. It is the most godlike because Allah does not eat or drink or any of the actions that go with it. So fasting is Allah's and He rewards it. And this is again taking on the تخلقوا بأخلاق الله. Take on the qualities that Allah has described Himself with, of Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman. And then, again, the ayah in the Quran.
A great idea just occurred to me, guys. I want to show you guys all the videos that I, want to share with you guys about my exposure therapy. So I'm gonna go downstairs and get my tablet out. Actually, you know what? Ah, hell, let's do it. It's just I should have done it before. You know what though? This is important to me. Sorry for the lack of editing. This is important to me. Just give me a second, guys. I'm really hungry. Alright guys, 1 second. See what we can set up here. Where's my tablet? Ah. Right here. Turn it on. Give it a second. Sorry guys, it's not like an Apple iPad tablet. It's like some cheap one I got from Walmart. I'm still here, guys. I'm just setting this up. This is what I usually do before. I'll show you. This is what I usually do before I make the video. But I set up my tablet. I, you know, set up where I'm gonna sit and everything. So I'm gonna just do all this. The tablet's just gotta oh, where's everyone? The tablet's just gotta I'm not gonna change the focus because last time I did and it wouldn't let me change back. So if you guys want to see my face, I'll just go like this. But most of the time it's gonna be on the tablet, so I can show you guys a cool videos about exposure therapy on YouTube. I think this is really great. To show people, you know, videos on YouTube about exposure therapy, to make sure that, to know that they're not alone. And also, for anything that I've missed, like I'm no professional at this, a lot of these people have made videos that are cough, cough, much more well edited than mine, cough, cough, not cool, hashtag hashtag demonetization. I'm not sure what any of that means, but I do, I'm just killing time so we can start the video. I'm just killing time, 1 second here. Let's start up. I actually saved a video I wanted to show you guys today. So let's look at that video while I do my exposure. I'll continue my exposure. Alright. Give me a sec. I can't find it, so I'm gonna just search for it here. I hope it's to talk about both. This is Katie Morgan. Highly recommend her. So we'll watch her video first. What is exposure therapy, PTSD, anxiety, OCD, and more, mental health, help with Katie Morgan. She's one of the most biggest channels on YouTube. So I'm definitely gonna give her a plug, and you guys should watch this. So we'll watch this. We'll watch this. Sorry for all the random noises. I don't even know what half the stuff is going on here. Oh, for the love of goodness.
Today we're going to talk about exposure therapy. What is it and why do we use it? So exposure therapy is a CBT technique. CBT meaning cognitive behavioral therapy. But it's a technique that's used in CBT to treat PTSD and phobias. Before I even get into what exposure therapy is, I want to let you know how important this clinician and that they are trained to help you. So exposure therapy works in PTSD and phobias. Obviously, at a clinician's discretion, it can be used to treat other things, but those are the most common. Now, in PTSD, it works to help the patient gain control over the fear and pain that may be associated with their trauma. In some cases, flooding is the best option. Flooding meaning putting you right back into that scenario, all the fears and the, maybe the physical pain. You may have body memories about it. You may feel those. All those come flooding back. And then they help you calm yourself down in this situation itself and help you process through the trauma and feel okay with it. For some people, that's the best option. That's the best way for them to process through it. For other people, they need gradual desensitization. They need to think about the trauma and calm themselves down. They need to imagine themselves going to see that person who traumatized them and calming themselves down. It may be a slower progression, and that's why it's so important to have someone who specializes in it, because they need to be able to tell which is best for you, what will be right in your process as you work through this PTSD. The second reason that they usually use exposure therapy is with regard to phobias. And I'm reading my notes. It says that with regard to phobias, relaxation exercises, imagery, and mindfulness are extremely important. It's so that we can be slowly introduced, like I talked about in the PTSD, where we slowly desensitize ourselves to it. That is the way that this works in phobias. There's no flooding that they do with regard to phobias. They stated that that's usually not the best way to treat that and help you overcome it. The best way is to gradually expose you to the thing that you're most fearful of, and you slowly learn that you have control over that. And they use relaxation techniques, breathing techniques, some do meditation, mindfulness. All of these tools can be helpful in this process. And that's why it's really important for you to work with someone who specializes, because one of the steps that they talked about being really important before doing the phobia work is really installing all of those different options in yourself, being really comfortable with your breathing techniques, being really good at being mindful and meditating, so that you have a bunch of tools to use when you're imagining yourself going back, or even physically introducing yourself to a phobia. All of those tools need to be almost like innate, so you can pull them out, you can use them, and you can calm yourself down. So that, in a nutshell, is what exposure therapy is. And I hope it answers some of those questions that you may have, and maybe why your therapist is requesting that you look into it. It can be so beneficial. So please, if you found this helpful, share this video. You never know who it might help. Someone might be considering it. Maybe someone's therapist brought it up and they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. You never know who you're going to help. And if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, click over here. And if you want more information on other types of therapy, click over here, and I will see you next time. Someone who cares about you thinks that you may benefit from cognitive behavioral therapy. Before we begin, please find a quiet location, put your glasses on if you wear them, and if you use hearing aids, please put them in. If you're experiencing low mood, you are not alone. Up to 20% of older Canadians suffer from depression. Many people are ashamed to talk about it or think that it is a normal part of aging. It isn't. It's an illness, and it's treatable. Cognitive behavioral therapy is proven to be an effective treatment for depression. Research shows that over 60% of participants notice an improvement in their symptoms. You may be asking yourself, what is cognitive behavioral therapy? Cognitive behavioral therapy is a type of talk therapy that aims to minimize dysfunctional thinking, actions, and emotions. Through a series of talks with a
Guys, I just think it's funny. This woman has no neck. I'm doing a video about choking phobia. Moving on.
In Point Grey. Ever since his wife Dolores died 2 years ago, he has been a committed volunteer at his local community center. He tidies the center's kitchen, greets people at the door, and organizes the weekly bingo event every Wednesday afternoon. Ronald feels a sense of reward by volunteering, but also enjoys the social interactions he has with fellow older adults in his community. In fact, Ronald has made a few really close friends at the community center. They play bingo together, talk on the phone, and go to the park regularly. 6 weeks ago, Ronald broke his hip after falling on the way to the community center. Ronald underwent surgery and spent 3 weeks. Upon discharge, the doctor told Ronald that it may take approximately a year for him to fully heal. Ronald has not been taking the news well and feels worried that he may fall again, so he has stopped volunteering at the community center. He stays in bed,
Okay, guys. Finish my anxiety. I'm gonna try my exposure. And say it is 0, you know, it doesn't really feel like it's going up. Actually, I wasn't being mindful enough. I'm just gonna eat have one more exposure. Make sure it's not going up, or if it is going up, why it could possibly be going up. And, yeah. Sorry, my hiccups were distracting me. One more bite. It went up to a 1. But basically negligible. Alright, guys. That's my exposure. That's my kind of exposure therapy that I do every day, just to make sure that I eat, to make sure that I'm aware of who I am and where I am. My mental faculties are okay. It's like a health checkup. I hate this sound. I'm gonna figure out how to stop this next video. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. I'm sure there's a silent mode on this thing. It's like a good checkup in the beginning of the day to kind of, you know, make sure that your anxiety, you know where it is. Some people wake up and they don't realize they're anxious until the day's done, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. They're still in bed, or they just got ready. That's me. Remember 2008, 2009, 2010 even. I would, you know, not get ready till like 5 or 6, and then I'd wonder why none of my friends are calling me. Right? I would get ready to go out, right, at around 5 or 6 at night, in the evening. Like, I'd wake up, and then I just had no energy. I'd just go back to sleep and be like, what's the point? Or I'd wake up, get some food, and then just kind of like go back to sleep, or just, you know, sit in my room and watch TV. It wasn't until I realized it's like, you know, later that I need to like do these things. It wasn't until about 5, 6 o'clock. My parents are coming home from work, and I'm ready to go. I got in the shower, brush my teeth, I comb my hair, put water on my face, I put clothes on, And I'm outside my garage. I'm wondering, where are all my friends? You know, usually they're outside. Not me realizing they were outside probably around 12:01 until they realized this guy isn't coming out anymore. So what's the point? So, and there's also a breakthrough I made yesterday while I was at work about therapy. I made this kind of breakthrough that I realized that my personality is interesting and irrelevant. What I mean by that is most of my thoughts are interesting and irrelevant. My personality is a very interesting personality and also very irrelevant. And I think that has to do with OCPD. I tend to like, if you know what OCPD is, you know what I mean. They tend to kind of like, look at like the little details in the carpet rather than looking at the whole carpet. They take a very long time to do very simple things because they want them to be 100% correct. That's interesting. Is it useful though? Right? Is it relevant? Not really. 1 minute. I need to do something which everybody does. You guys don't know what that means? Just give me 1 minute. Hey guys, give me a second. Let me get my jacket on. Give me my everything on. We'll go outside, talk a little more. Right. I remember what I want to talk about now. Coming. Sorry guys. I'm used to just like yelling. I don't know what it is. I'm just used to like yelling because my father does it a lot. Where he like yells to his children and his wife. Not like yelling, like abusing. I mean, like, he's too lazy. Like, if he's in one room and they're downstairs, he would just yell at them. I know, we would do that too. It's just, I don't know. It's weird when you see your father doing it with other people besides your family. I mean, they're my family too. They're like my, step family or something. Like, they're my family too. They're not my step family. It's just that I've been with my father for like all these years and he's been doing it. Now he's doing it with other people. It's weird. Like, I know this isn't a very popular opinion, and it's not something I really say to my father or my mother, or my stepmother, or who I basically consider my mother, or basically anybody. I don't something which is when the way my dad calls my stepmother, for example, when my dad and mom were in love a lot, and I don't know if they really were in love because it's hard to say. I would like to believe there were at least some portions of love in that marriage. There were times where my dad would say to my mom in a lovingly way, in Urdu, begum, which means like esteemed elder of the house, the madame, the missus, like the esteemed elder, right? And the way he said it, it also meant like, I love you in a way, like you're that esteemed lady in my life, It's like a way of saying like, oh, honey, sugar, whatever. When my dad says it to these people here, it's so surreal. It took such a long time to get used to. And even now, I have to constantly tell myself, don't complain to my dad. There's no point. It's not going to get us anywhere. My psychologist told me not to do that. And to just kind of go along with what he's saying and agree with it. So, but it does bother me still to a certain extent. It's so interesting because you just think, like they used to be different. I don't know if this is a good rant or not. I'm just ranting a lot here. So I'm just gonna get my shoes on, we're gonna go outside and probably take you along for at least some of the ride along. What I'll do is maybe take you, I don't know, take you along for a bit, and then maybe just end it there. I want to get the exposure out of the way, and then I want to get at least some of these videos. I know Katie Morton is very, very popular on YouTube. She's like probably has like 500,000 subscribers, or maybe more. Now, the thing about Katie Morton is, she tends to focus more on trauma and traumatic injuries, like, you know, rapes or sexual abuse or physical abuse, violence, most things that are like criminal in nature. I think she tends to have that type of background, and that's one of the things you gotta understand when you're choosing a therapist. One of the things she pointed out, which is, what is their speciality? What is their subset? Because if memory serves me correct, like, not memory, but like I think if my general knowledge of the world serves me correct, when you go to medical school, you have to choose which kind of field you're interested in, right? Like neurobiology, or right, mental health, or heart, cardiovascular, whatever, right? Podiatry. So I think you have to pick, and I think even within the picking, there's subsets. I think in mental health, at least, like I've seen people who have, for example, said my subset is substance abuse, right? Substance addiction. Other people say, you know, my subset is phobias and you know, phobic disorders. And so it's very uh-oh, my phone's not charging. Oh, there it is. It's very it's like a crapshoot unless you know what you're talking, unless you know who you're talking to. What I mean by that is that I don't disagree with, for example, I was diagnosed with as cannabis dependence by a psychologist who had a why is it so dark? I'm not sure. By a psychologist who had a background in addiction, right? So obviously, I don't question that. I think that there's definitely a bias to that. Maybe, I'm not sure. It just feels like it. At the same time, I know, like my psychologist, who I would consider my psychologist when I have money enough I can see him, says you have a phobia, a choking phobia, and you can see on his wall, you know, has distinguished whatever in phobias, or in OCD and phobias. So it's interesting. It's interesting. You gotta be careful. As Katie said, you don't go to a Bismillah. منزل الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يأتون بشيء من علمه إلا ما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض. Yeah, what I was saying is, you don't go to a psychologist and don't ask their credentials. You have to. That's one of the main ways they themselves distinguish between themselves, right? And I'll give you an example. I've used this example before, and I'll never tire from using it. It's one of the ways I think I grew up and learned about the world. Like, I didn't know anything really about the world, I guess you could say, until this point. I basically went to the psychologist for my, you know, inability to eat food because of my fear of choking. So as I'm talking to him, I realized that he has no idea as to why I want to get help. Not necessarily why I want to get help, but he was going straight into like goal setting and thought records. Those are advanced level things. For someone who, you know, just had like a bagel and maybe like a chocolate bar all day, they're talking to me about goal setting and you know, thought records, and I'm just like, I don't know what you mean. Like, you're the one that's supposed to help me. I just didn't feel like he was comforting enough. Like, he was highly professional, except for one time where he was actually late, and actually not late, but he canceled the appointment and then said, can you come 2 hours later? And he didn't tell me till I got there, which was highly unprofessional. I let that slide because I always give, doctors, you know, they're busy. Give them one off. Give them a chance. You know, give them a chance. Like in that book, in that movie Hearts in Atlantis. Let's not get distracted. I'm saying just give them a chance. They're busy. Give them a chance. So I let that slide. It just felt like it started off on a bad tone though, because after that I came, right, and I was speaking to him. He got very, at least I felt he got very, you know, I don't know what he got. I felt like he maybe got a bit defensive or unsure. I think unsure is the better word. I got incredibly angry, not at him, just in me. My face was probably red. I don't know. I just felt very, very angry. And you're telling me a psychologist can't read an angry face? Anyway, I was very, very angry that entire session because as, you know, he came late and I'm asking him, I'm like, I just asked him randomly because I wanted to know this question. And I think I have the right to ask it, even though, you know, maybe I already knew the information before, or I just felt like, why the hell not ask this question, right? Like, I was wondering, if I don't come into a session, if I no-show, what's gonna happen? And they're just like, he looked at me like, he just looked at me with like puzzlement, almost as if like I was talking back to him. I don't know, he's just like, well, that means we don't, like, it means you're not gonna go, you're not gonna show up. I'm like, so am I gonna get charged or late fee? And he's like, no, it's just, I forget what he exactly said. It was basically like, we're not gonna, this isn't like school, we're not gonna take attendance. He didn't say it like that. He basically made me feel that way. Like, it's just like, you know, if you don't show up, you don't show up. And I was thinking, is this like professional? Like, do you even want to retain clients? Do you care? Because I know my psychologist who went to John fucking Hopkins, all right, and charges $190 a fucking 50 minutes. Would charge $100 for a late fee. When you're there, you say you were there because he considers his time very important. And why the hell wouldn't this other therapist? You know? I just don't get it. It's because I don't think he has confidence in his work and his ability to help people. That's what I think it is. If you don't manage your time correctly, and you have a service you're providing, then that means you're not confident enough in that. You know. At least that's what I feel. That's what I feel. It feels like it means you're not confident enough in your services because you're like, if the guy doesn't show up, whatever, it wasn't that important anyway, right? I'm just BSing him, making him feel better half the time. No! Don't make the patient feel that way. Then he could maybe end up in like unsafe, abusive, substance abuse behaviors. You're like, oh, my therapist sucks, all therapists suck, I hate therapy, and next thing you know, he doesn't trust anything, and he's like going to some woman who believes in crystals and stuff. I don't know, you know what I mean? You gotta, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm against it. I'm against believing in crystals because I'm Muslim. I'm just saying that, you know, you shouldn't knock therapy unless you give it a shot. And I don't think he was helping people allowing his patients to give psychology a shot. Because you got to understand, when you're talking with traditional patients who have an understanding of the devil, an understanding of God, have an understanding of suffering, you know, have an understanding of, you know, life on earth and trials and tribulations, you got to connect with them about say that psychology is good, it helps people with these mental health illnesses, it's not bad, it's, you know, you're not possessed by the devil, all these different things you got to say to them. He just like, whatever, if you don't show up, they don't show up. Like, good luck retaining your patients, you know? I think it was the third or fourth session where I finally realized, I don't care what this guy says anymore. Like, I'm going to have an open mind, and I feel like I like taking notes on psychology, so that's what I basically do when I listen to him, or mostly when I leave, I just end up jotting some crap down that I remember. Most of the time, though, I'm just like, whatever, it's $20, $30, is getting out of the house, and at least it's someone to talk to. Basically, that's what it was down to at that point. And then I realized I'd rather just talk to myself and save that $30, right? So, something to consider. I'm behind a salt trucker right now. It's crazy. Anti-icing in progress. Keep back 15 meters. Alright. So, I think I'm gonna end it here. My plan for today is, you know, I have a very planful day. What I mean by that is I have a lot to do. I need to work basically all day. First, I'm going to the dispensary, getting high. I'm gonna go to the dispensary, come home, get high. Then I'm gonna brush my teeth, comb my hair, put some water on my face, and make myself look presentable with some cologne on, and then work the whole day. basically. Maybe take a break for like a couple hours. But basically, I want to get at least like an evening full shift and a dinner full shift if I can. If I can just do a dinner full shift, that's fine. Or if I can just do an evening full shift, I'm fine. Because I did work yesterday during the snowstorm, and I made $60 in like 3 hours. So it was like back-to-back orders. Yo, they gave me an order, $3.49 for 7.4 kilometers, cash order McDonald's. Okay, like come on. I'm thinking like, what? My first thought was I should take it because I need to keep my acceptance rate up, which is like they give you extra money if you take these crap orders. Then I realized it's not even worth it in this snowstorm for $4, not even $4, like $3.70. Like you can go to the theaters here and get a Coke for like $5. And I'm driving all the way in this snowstorm from one restaurant to a person's house for $3.75. As if like that's something I want to do. That's ridiculous. So, all right. That being said, yeah, I was on this road last night, man. I'm telling you, there was full-on snow everywhere. I mean, I couldn't see a damn thing. And there's guys behind me with their headlights on, all pressuring me, and I'm getting anxious. And then on top of that, there's a part of the road here where it goes is pure dark, like there aren't even any lights on the top. So that was freaking hardcore. I was like, what am I gonna do? And while I'm figuring all this out, trying to keep my car on the road, I end up driving into the what do they call it? The shoulder lane, the breakdown lane. Twice. One time I didn't even know. I was just like, what's going on? Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, my car is not perpendicular to all the other cars, right? And that's when I realized I'm waiting. And then I deliberately tell myself, all right, I gotta stay like far left. I don't care about anyone in my left lane. If I was in the right lane, I gotta stay far left, like in the middle of the thing, because I'm not hitting that fucking shoulder again, because I can't see shit. And then halfway through it, I realized I'm having trouble. Just like I'm thinking, how am I gonna get all the way there? I was still 18 minutes away, 15 minutes away at least. And I was like, how am I gonna get there? And let's say, like, what happens if they close early because of the snowstorm, And I'm just thinking it's not worth it. I'm like, it's just a bad idea. I can go without having my morning marijuana joint for a little bit, and just start tomorrow. So after about debating, I get basically almost to Oakville, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna turn around. So I turned around, and I said, all right, what are you gonna do? You don't get your marijuana today. I'd rather risk that than getting stuck in a shoulder. You know what I mean? Who wants to get stuck in a shoulder? So. We can talk about depression. I want to maybe intro depression. No. I'll talk about, I just want to quickly talk about depression, even though this is just like a primer to depression. I want to begin, as I said, the videos I want to start tomorrow, where I do an exposure, and then I do pick a topic about psychology and talk about it. It's going to be depression tomorrow, hopefully, God willing, inshallah. And I believe that I'll begin by, right now, what I'm going to talk about is my story of depression, and how I don't know what depression was. I didn't know what depression was. I thought depression was like a lowering in the land, like a depression, like a lowering in the land. That's what I thought it was. I heard it in school. That's how it was taught. They don't take intro to psychology in high school. They don't give you that course. All they teach you is like science, math, and English. And you can pick a foreign language to feel like you're in control. Everything other than that, you have to learn on yourself with extracurriculars. The state isn't going to teach you things like this, like psychology. So when I first learned about depression, it was around the time, late 2008, early 2009. I broke up with my ex-boyfriend summer of 2008. And I started feeling really sad. I started feeling very confused because I thought I'd feel better after breaking up with him because it's what I wanted. Because he wanted to get closer in terms of marriage, and I knew my parents wouldn't accept it. And so I thought the best way to just cut the rip the band-aid off is just tell him, look, I don't want to be with you anymore, and let him believe what he wants to believe. He thought I was cheating on him. I let him believe that I wasn't cheating on him, but I let him believe that because I think it was just easier for him to believe that rather than to actually, believe him that that I just can't do this any further because I need my parents, guidance and help and support. So I started using a lot of alcohol, and I was a big drinker even before. Every weekend, as a social occasion, I would get like about 400 milliliters, 425 milliliters of vodka, and just down it with my friends. We'd like just down it, just do stupid things like, I don't know, go to parks or play pool, watch a movie, get high, you know, dumb things. And it wasn't until I was alone I realized that I couldn't really like sleep. I think I just had this overwhelming urge to always be on YouTube, and that's what I think was the first red flag. I like YouTube. YouTube's great. I think YouTube has a lot of information, and even when I wasn't depressed, I learned a lot from YouTube. It's just when I wasn't with him, and then I started going on YouTube, I felt so much more connected to people, to videos. I still remember the first video I watched on YouTube after I broke up with him was by a Pink called Who Knew, right? It kind of summed up how I was feeling, how I was feeling. Like, it was like, if something in 10 years from now I'll grow old. Okay, basically, I'm not gonna sing anymore, don't worry. It's just basically about a girl and a guy who fell out of love, and you know, it's about who knew that was gonna happen. Same with me, who knew I was gonna happen? We were so happy, we wanted to do everything together, we were gonna grow old together, we were gonna be soulmates, and then who knew, right? This happens. Anyway, I'm around the area where I actually got into the little, like, driving into the shoulder, so just trying to like deal with that because it was so traumatic. Anyway, it's amazing. Within like 8, 10, 12 hours, it's gone. It's all been melted. It's amazing, man. We live in this great country where, imagine if we lived in, like, I don't know, some country that doesn't, you know, like, I don't know, crap country, like Syria, where, like, if it snows, there ain't gonna be no one coming. And it snows in Syria. It snows in Syria. There ain't gonna be no tow trucks, some ISIS tow truck. There ain't gonna be no ISIS plows coming out. You know, brother Aziz, the snow is coming. What's supposed we do? Yeah, no, there ain't no democracy in Syria. So thank God we live here. Thank God they actually take care of our institutions. So that was my first major thing with depression, and I just felt like I wanted to keep going on YouTube. That's all I did. And then, as a natural progression of going on YouTube, I learned more about gaming computers. And the first time I heard those words, I don't know if it was gaming computers or PC gaming, or if it was Alienware, or if it was gaming laptop. I think the first words were like desktop replacement were the words I heard one time. Like, I heard they were selling desktop replacement laptops. And I was like, what the hell is that? And he's like, well, it's basically all the power of a desktop and a laptop. So you can do your gaming on the go. You can have your LAN parties in your own little place, and, you know, you'll be great. And so I got heavy into that. I don't know what clicked. I got obsessed. I would look on those websites every day. You know how, like, people, you know, go on, like, you know, gambling websites or porn websites. I was on that website 24/7, just looking at the different prices. $1,500 base model, $2,500, you know, this model comes with all these different things, colors and shit. I was like, damn, I want one of these. And I just kept, you know, thinking that, and nothing really struck me as strange. You know, I was waking up later, I believe, at this time. Definitely smoking a lot of weed. Like, I'd wake up at like 5, maybe 4, maybe I'd push myself to wake up at 3 because I realized something was wrong. I didn't know what it was. I just knew something was wrong. Like, usually at 3 o'clock I'm already about. We already had lunch. You know, I'm getting a bit tired. You know, going out with my friends. It's not like I'd wake up at 3 and be ready to, like, get ready. You know. So as I mentioned earlier, then I would call my friends. Most of them wouldn't pick up my phones because they realized they've already had their social interaction for the day. they woke up at like 8, 9, 10, whatever, and then they had their social interaction. Why would you want to hang out with me? Some still did because they wanted to get high, maybe later at night. I know one of my friends still wanted to get high later at night. And that's kind of when the choking phobia started, when I was really, really depressed, and I was confused with my sexuality, confused about like, even like what my friends were thinking about, like if they wanted to have sex with me. Like I thought one of my friends wanted to have sex with me. I mean, I know at least one of them did. I'm not joking. One of them did. One of them definitely did. He basically said to me, like, my girlfriend, sometimes I tell her to just bow down to my penis. And he told me, and I was like, I thought nothing of it, right? I was just like, okay, that's good to know. And then the second thing is he would like be like, it happened over a long period of time. He would like ask me things like, we'd all be in a social group having smoke, and he would just like come sit up next to me and be like, let's go for a walk. And I knew immediately, I knew what he was thinking. Like he wanted to like fool around or something. And I'm thinking, what? Most people are probably thinking, you're crazy. Why are you thinking that, right? You're not that good looking. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's like there's also another time where he asked me to sleep over. And I knew he was sleeping. Like we were all hanging out. He just didn't want to go home. So he's like, I'm sleeping over tonight. And I thought to myself, yeah, I want to have sex. Like I felt totally turned on. I was like, yeah, I want to touch him. I want to suck his penis. I want to have, I want to, I felt instantly turned on. And then when it actually came, I remember I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth or whatever, about ready to go to bed, and he was in my room, and when as soon as I get in, he takes his pants off, and he just has his boxers there, and he's just sitting on my sofa, right? I told him, you can sleep on the sofa, I'll sleep on the floor, whatever, right? And he was sleeping he was just sitting on the sofa, looking at me. And I could tell his penis was semi-erect. And at that point, I don't know what happened. I shut the light and I just said, no, none of this fancy pants stuff. I'm not into like this NSF, friends with benefits. I'm looking for a relationship. Just because I'm gay doesn't mean I'm a whore. And that's what those three things kind of like, I could probably tell you at least another story, but I think you guys get the idea of what I'm trying to say. And so I was very confused at this time, and that's where the depression kind of began, through this huge process of staying indoors, watching YouTube a lot, smoking a lot of weed, and kind of like abandoning my friends. Even though I felt like my friends abandoned me, I abandoned them. Really. Except the ones that stopped talking to me because I was gay. Except the ones that stopped talking to me because I was gay, they abandoned me. Fuck them, they weren't my friends in the first place. I'm talking about like the friends that I talk to still now. I hurt them, and I apologize for that. For not talking and hanging out with them. So, alright, leave it here. So remember guys, went from 0 to 1, which is normal. I've spoken about this before, how when you get bored of your exposure, it's still good. Especially if it's a choking phobia, you gotta continue eating. Just because you say your choking phobia is done, you're not hungry at this time, do it anyway. Rather than, having it spike because of something later on in the day, and then you have to freak out. Have it done in the beginning of the day, even if it's like a 0 to 1, because at least you get food in your belly. You're hungry. You're set with that. You enough so you can kind of like think. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks, guys. Remember, guys, stay with it.